Want to see something funny? I bet if I go like this, you can see Crazy Russian. So he wanted me to say that this is 0.85 gigahertz, which it is. This is the EVGA GTX 580 FTW Hydro Copper 2. So it is for the win, which means that it is in EVGA's highest tier of overclocked, highly binned chips, okay? So it's a for the win. It is hydro, which means that it uses liquid cooling. It is copper, which should be fairly self-explanatory, and it is 2. So it must be the second one. So the first thing we see on the front of the box is that EVGA is the #1 seller of NVIDIA-based products in the US. They're very proud of that, and so they should be. We have 3D Vision surround support, PhysX DirectX 11, SLI, CUDA, a bunch of stuff that's not on here. Even 3-way and 4-way SLI is supported by this particular card. Let's see what EVGA has to say for themselves on the back. It does support their precision tool for overclocking as well as their free OC scanner. So this precision in particular is a very, very useful little feature. We have full support for 3D Vision, including 3D Vision surround. Okay, so I did mention that before. I didn't think I did, but actually I had already. All right, let's open this up. And oh, we've got some seals to break here. That is something that I do like to do. Oh, hold on. Just got that running in the background there. Okay, let's break the seal and have a look at this very fast, very expensive graphics card. So it comes in a sleeve. This is more of a traditional, older style video card box. All right, then it comes in a box, which will contain nothing there. Maybe this was here. Maybe this was also here. Maybe these are supposed to be here. See, let's try it like this and see if that works better. See, what if I opened it like that? Okay, that doesn't really, maybe that's why they didn't put them in there. All right, hose clamps and barbs are provided. To properly position the barbs and stop fittings, follow the diagram below. Okay, I'll explain that in a minute. All right, we got one of those posters. I've shown you guys this a number of times, but I guess, I'll show you again. Oh no, wait. Oh no, it's the same old one. Never mind. The skull. There you go. Okay, so let's just close Mr. Skull back up here and there we are. Okay, the next thing we find inside is a bunch of useless stuff. Basically, that's how to install a graphics card in a PCIe slot and a driver disk, which you shouldn't use. You should download the latest off NVIDIA.com. Next, we have our mini HDMI to HDMI cable. This is great because it means that if you plug in a full-size HDMI cable, you will not interfere with the DVI slot that is next over. We have a dual 6-pin PCIe to 8-pin PCIe adapter and a dual Molex to 6-pin PCIe adapter, just in case your power supply does not have native support for this card. We've got a DVI to VGA adapter. Seriously, you should not be using that. VGA out on a card of this caliber, just buy yourself a new monitor already. Okay, next, we have barbs. All right, so for those of you who aren't familiar with water cooling, we got a few different things here. We have 2 1/2-inch stubby fittings, barb fittings. Okay, so what makes them stubby is that they're shorter than a traditional longer barb. Okay, what makes them 1/2 inch is the outer diameter of the flange here on the barb. And they got O-rings in here to make sure that they don't leak. These are G1 quarter threaded, so they will be compatible with this and most other blocks on the market. You've also got 3/8 barbs. So these are for if you are running 3/8 tubing inside your water cooling loop. I actually use 3/8 tubing, so these are the ones that I would use in theory, but I would probably upgrade them to compressions instead of barbs. These are stop fittings. So stop fittings go everywhere where you don't put a barb. So let's explain that diagram real quick here. Okay, so you can either put them in this way. So you see the stop fittings there? So the water flows in, around the loop, blah, 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 and then comes out here. Or you can go this way. So it's in from the top, and then go and it comes out this way. So basically the stop fittings have to always go opposite wherever you put a barb so that it doesn't just flow straight through without passing through the block to cool the GPU and the RAM and everything, because this is a full cover block. It weighs about, oh wow, that's heavy. They weren't kidding when they said it was made of copper. So full cover blocks cool not only the GPU itself, which used to be how we did video card water cooling, but also the memory, power delivery, all of that good stuff. Full cover blocks are pretty much the shizzle. I'm a big fan of full cover blocks, and I do run one in my own system at home. I actually did a video where I showed you guys how to install a full cover block. It's a bit of a process, so there is definitely something to be said for buying a card like this from EVGA, which is binned higher than most GTX 580s, and also comes equipped with a water block right out of the box, which means you don't have to install it, you don't have to worry about any complications with your warranty from installing it. Not to say EVGA won't warranty you if you install a different card, but you know, if you break it and it's your own fault, they certainly won't be able to help you, right? So here we go. We've got a nickel-plated copper base with more plastic on it. There we are. This is made by Swiftech. You can see here, powered by Swiftech. It has a Delrin top. Now, Delrin has the advantage of being more durable than acrylic. So acrylic and Delrin are the two main materials that you see used for the tops of blocks. It is less liable to crack where you insert the barb. So here, I'm going to throw a 3/8 inch barb in there. Okay. Oh, one of the other things of note about this card is it is single slot. Check that out. So there's your mini HDMI, there's your DVI, there's your DVI, and there's your custom single slot PCI bracket. So that is a pretty awesome thing, which means you could, in theory, I mean, if you were doing like a folding rig, install as many as, what? Like, what's the highest number? 6? Would be like a classified SR2, 6 PCIe 16X slots?
7.
7. Okay.
Asus WS Evolution.
Okay, you can install a whole lot of these in one system at a time, should you so desire, although you'd have to get some custom fittings. These ones wouldn't quite work if you were putting cards right next to each other. Let's have a look at the back. So it does include EVGA's backplate for the GTX 580. This is not a custom PCB 580. It's just a very highly binned one that has a custom cooler and a custom backplate on it. So you can see we've got little holes for ventilation here, and it's also making contact, probably, with some of the key components on the back that do need to be cooled. Or maybe it's just for looks. Is it even making contact with anything? Maybe it is just for looks. I actually don't know. Interesting. Okay, we've got 2 SLI fingers with support for 2-way, 3-way, and 4-way SLI. On the bottom we find our standard PCIe 16X slot interface, and moving over back to the front we can just kind of look at the card some more, because it's a very, very slick, slim, sexy looking card. Looks great. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's like awesome. Oh yeah, 8-pin and 6-pin PCIe power connectors are needed for this particular board. And just so you guys know, you will need water cooling. You will need a water cooling setup in order to run this card. You can't just buy this if you don't already have liquid cooling. So you're going to want a pump, a radiator, a reservoir, and some fans in order to make this function. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for checking out my unboxing of the GTX 580 FTW Hydro Copper 2. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. And also, when you are fastening your barbs, don't overdo it. They should be kind of, once it starts to get snug, turn it maybe another quarter to half of a turn, and that is pretty much it. You don't want to rip the threads out. Just my little water cooling tip for you guys for the day.
0.85 gigahertz.